Well, hello, and welcome back. I won't do a long intro this time because, well, we just got off and we're getting back on, and this is part 2, and we were at part 1, and so here we are. Let's go ahead and take another swig of Focus. But for those of you that missed, I took a break for half an hour or so, probably not even that long, put the kids to bed and do that sort of thing. But for those of you that are just joining in, for your benefit, I'm working on this issue. I think it should be linked in the description. Wait, let me go back. This issue here, I'll go ahead and post it in the chat just so everybody can see. And feel free to, live code and Hangout, feel free to ask other questions and whatnot, but this is just the general direction that I'm going in. And I'm working on getting server-side redirects for the Google sign-in, whereas before in this library we had just the client-side. All the auth redirect stuff was being done on the client side, and the OIDC, which is OpenID Connect redirect stuff, was being done on the client side. So now we're changing that, and I just implemented the first redirect, and there's a little bit missing. The bit that's missing is that, let's see, here I was generating the state. Yeah, I was generating the state, but I'm actually going to need, to pass in the state instead of generating it here. So we're going to get rid of that from here. We're going to pass it in there. Okay, because the state, essentially, I don't want to, there's just a small amount of information. I don't want to bother putting it in a database to be able to persist it across multiple instances of the server. So I'm just going to put the little bit of data in the state, just base64 encoded. Generally, state's supposed to be a random value, but in this case, we put some actual data in it along with some random stuff. So that'll be just fine. And then the nonce is supposed to be a random value, and that's still random as the day is long. So we're good there. So let me go ahead and get back to this. Okay. So now the to-do pass state. What did I put that? Oh, it's the problem with long parameters lists. You got to remember where stuff goes. So state goes first. So redirect URI and then state. Oh, wait, hold on. Yeah, okay, this is going to be okay. This is going to be okay. Whoops. State will go here. All right. So hello to those of you joining in. If you were just in the last stream and you want to say hello, let me know you're still on. That'd be great. If you are someone different, joining in either for the first time or just joining in again tonight, go ahead and say hello and let me know who you are. I appreciate that. All right, let's see. We got let state equals. I'm just going to set this state object here. This is an opaque object, meaning it's not intended for anybody to understand what this is except for this server itself. It's not necessarily private or hidden information. It's just not intended for anything else to need to understand it. Okay. So, this is kind of silly, but this is one of those functions that I implement over and over again. In fact, I have it in my cheat sheet. So if we go to gist.github.com and we look at view your gists node, do I have it here? Where I'm just gonna have to search here. What is it? User Kool-Aid J6 JavaScript. I don't know if I called it JavaScript cheat sheet or Node cheat sheet. Maybe I called it Node. Where'd my cheat sheet go? Or did I move it? I may have moved it. Huh? That's weird. I'll try this one more time. Let's just look for cheat. No, that's okay. I think it's doing BOGO sort on these. I don't know what sort it's doing. But I very well may have moved my cheat sheet. Let's see. There it is. It's right here. I don't know what it's doing. Anyway, so base 64. There we go. To URL safe base 64. I thought I had an actual function in here. I think I'll put one in here. Yeah. I'll just add this because this is something that I just use so often. Almost seems kind of silly. So function to URL base 64 is going to take something. We're going to call it val. And we're going to do new, no, not new, just buffer.from val dot to string base 64. And then we're going to tag on these things here. And then we're just going to return it. And that is our to URL base 64 function right there. I'm going to save that in my cheat sheet. I've been making better use of my cheat sheets since I've been doing the live streams because, you know, I get better at coding as I do the live streams. All right. Okay, so to URL base 64, here we go. That should do the business. All right, so now we don't need any of this. We're passing our state in. Our redirect URI should be good. Okay. All right, so we're handling front end client, front end requested Google sign in redirect. And technically, I think it's supposed to be spelled that way. And then if there is a state, then that means that we should decode the state. And I guess that means that we should have the from URL base 64 is a lot simpler. You just do buffer.from and it'll take it either way. So we do buffer.from rec.query.state, and we do json.parse buffer.from. And this will give us back our state with our URL and our random bit there. Okay. So here, what we need is to do set cookie, which I'm not quite sure how we're going to snag that functionality and bring that over here, but we'll figure it out. And then this is to do security xxx, make sure this is safe. Now this is the part where it actually needs, well, we need to check the safety of the redirect in both places. So state.u and then redirect right here. Okay. So now I got to figure out how am I going to go set the cookie for this thing. Hey, welcome. I'm AJ. We're just working through an auth problem. I've got the link to the issue that I'm working through right there. But basically just converting some client-side Google sign-in redirect stuff to server-side redirect stuff. And we still got a little bit of Mountain Dew. Another. I think I might get another, actually. Who needs sleep? Na 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 na. Who needs sleep? Tell me what's that for? So I think in ops, if I remember correctly, oh, grant tokens and cookie right here. Grant tokens and cookie. Well, this one's a little bit awkward then, because this one should be granting the cookie. But not necessarily the tokens. Let's see, how is this one set up? Oh, right. Okay, so I may, this is going to be a funny one. I'm not quite sure how to handle this, because the problem that I have here is that this function is exported for use elsewhere. Yeah. But in this particular case, I need to call features of that function. Let's see. Let me think about this for a second. Okay, so at this point I should have an ID token. And that should give me basically all these things. All right. So I should have a state, and this should come back to me with an ID token. Let me go check the other code here. Just kind of peek at it to see if I can remember. Well, I can't remember, so I'm peeking at it to see. All right, so this definitely has ID token. Do we also distinguish between access token here? Access token is for what? Now that's just saying if we have an access token, that's auth2. Access token, complete auth2 sign in. All right, so I'm pretty sure our OpenID Connect should give us an ID token, and that's really all we're concerned with. So I think I would be calling the by OIDC except that I would need a redirect. Yeah. This is interesting. I'm not quite sure how this is going to fit in, or if there's going to be other changes that need to be made here. Okay, well, let's just move forward and we'll figure it out. Huh? So basically right here, I need to have rec.jws equals rec.query.id token. I guess it's more like rec.jwt. I'm trying to stop saying like, but in this case, I think that was the appropriate use of the word like. Similar to. Yeah, so here, because of the way this is working out, I almost want to say that instead of trying to handle this internal to the server, that I should actually make a request from the server to itself so that it just sticks with its existing processes and there's fewer code paths to manage. I have to think on that for a second. If anybody's got some ideas on that, feel free to let me know. Let's see here. Boop. What? Okay, I need to go to lib session, I think. I think that might be the right approach. Or could we just go through the strategy handler? Let's see, where are we decoding this? Verify session, reset cookie, JWS, verify ID token. Verify JWT. Oh, this is not used anywhere? Interesting. That's not even exported. That's just a junk function that's just left in there from a bygone era. In this particular case, though, I think it is just the function that I need. Verify ID token. Where does that go? Exchange by ID token? Is that the only place it's used? No, we want the verify Google token. Let me think about this. I think I need to see more of this. This is one of those cases where I kind of want to just turn the monitor sideways. In fact, I'm thinking about taking this one and turning it sideways so that I can see more stuff that way on this one. Actually, that would make a lot of sense for what I use this one for. I don't think there's any reason to have this one side by side, as it were. As it were. All right, I'm going to have to go back to that Google bit here, and let's see. Verify OIDC token. Let me go back to that in here. Verify OIDC token. Okay. It's pretty much the same thing. Token verifier. Return the function that verifies it. But then what's the result? It calls next. Let me go take a look at this. How does this use it? Verify OIDC token. Verify Google token. And really this could be optional, I guess. Maybe I should break this into two routes. I think that's what I need to do here. But then the problem with that is then I need more information to be passed in, because I do need to know what route this is on. So I guess if I could just say Google verifier ops for this particular instance means optional, then I think we're good to go. So if I could do, let's say, object.assign optional true, like this works for me. And so what optional true means is not that it is optional to verify the token if it exists, but if the token doesn't exist, verify OIDC token. Okay, but here's the problem, is that I need to hack into this. Yeah, this is a little bit hacky-do here. If verify ops.optional and not JWT, then what we want to do is we want to carry on without an error for internal use. So let's make this optional underscore. Yeah, okay, let's do that. And then we go back over here. Where was it? Optional. Let's put an underscore there to make sure that this is private implementation detail. It's not part of the public API. Actually, I want the screen to be a little brighter. As it gets darker, I want the screen to be brighter. Maybe that's a little weird, huh? Toot, toot, toot. All right, so yeah, this is just getting really funky-do. Because if rec.query.id token, then we're going to say rec.headers.authorization equals bearer space rec.query.id token. A little monkey patch. I'm just going to call this monkey patch for the token verifier. And this is, I mean, it's not so bad. It's not so bad. But we got a little bit of behavior that we didn't have previously, which is that we're now accepting a query parameter token, which we weren't going to do that before. And we're fudging it on to the headers authorization so that it'll be had by the verified Google token. And we're making this optional so that if the token doesn't exist, it'll still go to the redirect. So the redirect will work both ways based on whether or not it has an ID token and a state. Okay, that all said, I think this will work now. The one thing that we need to do, which again, this is another thing I just need to add to my cheat sheet because I have to do this stuff all the time of saying, hey, do these things start in the same way? Let's see, what's a good a good way to check this. So we need to check the referrer. If I'm not mistaken, the referrer should be the full URL. Let me check this out. There's two things I need to check here. One, express a redirect. I prefer not to use the low value abstractions like this. I don't even know if it has one. Yeah. I always forget which is the temporary. I think it must be 301. No, moved permanently. I think I might go with a 307 on that. Ah, what's going on? Oh, there we go. That's what's going on. I had my keys in the wrong place. I've got a little sticker on my J key just to protect it from my terrible fingers, which ruin keys. My C key always gets screwed up on every keyboard that I have, and so I put little stickers on them. So as I wear the stickers down, I just replace the sticker. And it makes it a little bit difficult to tell where the ridge, the bump is, because the sticker's a little too close to the ridge, even though the sticker itself has a notch for the ridge. And so sometimes I lay my hands down on the wrong key and I don't notice since I put that sticker there. I might need to pull it off and replace it. Anyway, what's my damage here? Oh, redirect. I think we should be doing 307 for a temporary redirect. Because every time, the reason for this, every time we do this redirect, the redirect is going to be different. So really, I guess this should be, technically it should be 302. Because we're just using gets. All right. Kind of like the sound of 307 temporary redirect better, but whatever. Okay, so we need the security bit done. And the security bit is... let me see again what this looks like. Is it going to be the full URL? Yes. Okay, so what I need to make sure of then is essentially that it's part of the issuer URL. No, I had something for this. Redirect. Github Redirect URI. Let's see. So we don't do that redirect anymore. There was a place where I was specifying basically what the front end URL is, because this is all API stuff. We need to make sure that we trust wherever the redirect is going to. And I'm trying to remember how we do that. Let me go peek at these in the other window real quick to see how I had this set up. Again, feel free to ask questions. Have some chatter. Okay. Not quite sure I understand how I was doing this. I need to go take a look at how I'm doing it with the GitHub one real quick. I know there's somewhere where I was doing this. Login URL. That's what it was. Login URL. Where does login URL come from? Okay. So let's go peek at this. Okay, so we're going to be looking at the ops for Oidc. Right here. And I think we need to do the same thing. We need to have a login URL. I don't know what else to call it. Maybe login URL is not the right name, but I think it's the right name right now. So what's this Goog stuff? Client ID, ops. So wait then, how do we look at this before? Oh, okay, there it is. It's right in here. Okay, cool. All right, I got it. I'm down. I think I kind of want to let that be declared up here, though. Did I just add both of these? Verify Google token. Let's see. Actually, I don't think that's necessary to be there. Okay, Google Redirect sign in. So this thing's available already. All right, so maybe what I want here is Google Client ID and Google, we'll call it login URL for now. I think the correct name might be redirect URL, but that could get confusing because it's not the redirect URL that you put into the Google console. So I think that the name ought to be different. It's not really tied to Google as much as it is tied to whatever the front end is expecting. But essentially, we need to make sure that this is defined. And that we cannot redirect elsewhere. Okay. So I think it could be okay to say, let's see, has URL prefix refer prefixes URL. So let's say this would be google.login. No, this would just be login URL refer and this could be or ops.issuer. Either one of these would be appropriate. If not, let if is unsafe, then we just want a next error, right? So initiate. No, this is a bad request for sure. Res.status code equals 400. Yeah, I'm not really sure the right way to handle this because I don't really want this to go back to JSON, but that's kind of what it's going to do at this point. Well, maybe since this can't be done by accident. This would be, I mean, a user isn't going to cause this to happen in this way by accident. This is going to be because of a material problem with the way that the developer created this. So I think it's okay for this not to be exposed as an error that the developer can modify, because this is a developer's error, not a user error. So if it was possible for a user to do the wrong thing, we would want the developer to have the ability to change the error. But that's not the case here. So what do we do? We want a good developer error. That's really all we care about. And this is an internal server error. Wait. No, this one. What is it? I don't know. Let's see. Invalid referrer. Let's try this. User redirect is equal to login URL or offset assure. Okay, that's fair, right? We can even put that right here. And then no, this is trusted domain. Here we go. Like this. Now we need a prefixes URL function that does this check. All right, it's going to take in trusted, untrusted. Okay. And this maybe should throw an error. Sometimes I like that better than a Boolean because you can not check a Boolean correctly. But in this case, we need to control, this is not a normal API thing. We need to actually control the way that the message is sent back. All right, so we're going to have invalid redirect URL, and then we're going to say is not a child of. Okay. So here's what I want to do. I want to take this whole thing No. I want to do it this other way. I'm going to say we're gonna replace if there's a trailing slash, we're going to replace it with nothing, and then we're going to add a trailing slash. So this way we're guaranteed to have a trailing slash on the trusted URL. And then we're going to do the same thing here. Except maybe, you know what we do? This reads a little nicer. Like that. Hey, what's up? How's it going? Welcome to the channel. Would love to know what brings you here tonight. I'm working on this authentication problem, but feel free to chat me up about anything else. We're just kind of hanging out. Also, there's a Discord. I will actually give you a link to the Discord in case you want to join in. Can't post links on YouTube, just FYI, because of bots and stuff. But if you decide that you'd like to share a link with me, you can do so in the Discord. But yeah, I'm AJ. I'd love it if you just, say hello. Just, it's, here I am live from the publicity of my garage office. And it's nice just to know who's out there. It makes the experience a little bit better, so I don't feel like I'm just, I don't know how to explain it. But, it's less weird. It's less weird when people say hello and all that. Okay, so there's user redirect. And essentially, this should be pretty simple at this point. It should be... I guess we could... I guess we could do it this way. This is done before... we just leave it in there. Boom, boom, boom. Salutations, indeed. Iconic. I like it. I like it. Iconic. Are you a Trek fan or just a clever wordsmith? Okay, trusted. That's basically the same thing. We're going to do untrusted, untrusted. I guess it's better to do this here than anywhere else. I guess what I should do then is, if not trusted, trusted.length -1. This is the way I should do it. This is the simplest way to do it right here. But actually, again, following the advice that I was mentioning earlier, I think now that we have a string concatenation operator, better to always use it. There we go. And then, do we have a starts with or has prefix in JavaScript yet? What kind of string functions do we have these days? We do have a starts with. Oh, we have a small now too. Interesting. I wonder what that means. Here. Defensive programming. If untrusted starts with trusted, return true. Otherwise, return false. To do. Throw error. Just a little bit of a fail-safe here. Throw error. And then let's show where this is from. So this is from Auth3000. No issuer / login URL given. Let's see. There we go. Hey, welcome. Thanks for joining in. I'm AJ. I'd love to know who you are. So far, I know that we have Iconic with us. There's a few other people. They're silent sufferers. Or silent non-sufferers, I guess. Anyway. I'm just writing a little function here. I guess, do I want to... I don't know if I want to put this in my cheat sheet or not. I think it's kind of useful. I might want to put it in there. I'm going to try this out first, and then I'll see if I want to put it in my cheat sheet. I'm just checking to see if a given refer or redirect URL can be trusted. That's what that little bit of code is. And then I might be done with this once I test it. I think I've got everything in here that needs to be in here. Oh, no. We still have to do the part where we grant tokens and cookies. Let me go grant cookie. Oh, grant tokens and cookie. Grant tokens and cookie. So we do want to use our grant tokens and cookie bit here still, yeah, or at least this part of it. Grant tokens and cookie, grant tokens. Okay, why? Let me go hunt this down. Okay, it's not doing anything too special here. All right, I see. All right, so we're actually going to remove that eventually, but it's okay. I'm going to keep using it for now. By OIDC. Problem is, we still got some problems. Okay, we're not quite done. We're almost done though. Okay, let me get back to where the redirects are. How long you been coding? Tonight? Or in total? I'm assuming you mean in total. I've been coding for probably 15 years or more, depending on how you count. My first script I wrote in middle school. So that goes back a ways. That's 20 years. But that I have made money coding since 2005, I want to say. 2004, 2005. Yeah. Of course, back then, I happened to make money coding. I wasn't hired to make money coding. I started automating my job. That was awesome. I got a job at a high school as a techie, and I automated my job away. But as is typically the case if you automate your job away, my job didn't disappear. I just got different responsibilities, and I got a lot of free time. So I was able to teach myself more. I got some more responsibility. Automated that away. Yeah. Okay, what am I doing? I was doing something with redirects here. I was checking to see if this is unsafe. If it is unsafe, this is not the right name for this. prefixes URL is child of, I don't know what this ought to be named. I'm just going to leave it there for now. Anyway. Because I really like the idea of putting the trusted first, because this is the constant and this is the variable. Or constant isn't the right word, but this is the unchanging. We're going to get the same trusted every time. So maybe what I ought to do is do this. No, because I think I need to use this in two places. Let me see. Let me see where I need to use this. Then I'll go back and I'm prematurely optimizing here. All right. So here's the tricky part. You might think, oh, okay, well we tested this here, so we're good as gold, right? But 'tis not so. Because it is possible for someone not to do the redirect through the server. It is possible for someone to start the redirect process in another way and end up here and to have a state that we ought not to trust. So I guess if we're going to put data in this, we probably ought to at least do, I don't know, something. Actually, now that I know about that little GitHub trick, the GitHub token trick, I'm tempted to use that more often, because that is a neat little a neat little way of signing. But no, I don't want to do that here. Anyway, what we need to do is we need to check that this, not this one. Where is it? That generates the URL. This is the initializer, yeah? Initiate, okay. So we need to go here. We get the state. We need to make sure this is safe. So maybe what we could do, prefixes URL, then we want to have trusted URL, and then our untrusted URL. Okay, let me think about this again. Hold on. Doot. Redirect URL. Here we do. So this is our final redirect URL. Our truly final URL is what I could maybe call it. There we go. All right, to do set the cookie. So we're going to need to have that, yeah, by Oidc bit here. But here's the thing: is we actually need to do a redirect. So I need to set something on here. So that actually would have already been set. I'm going to need to do rec dot Oidc skip. I don't know. Don't reply. This is kind of a weird, this is a hacky thing to do, but I think that it'll do it for us. Final URL. Okay. So now all I need to go into, and I think I saw a comment. Yeah, I'll check that out in just a second. We need to go here, and then if rec.oidc no reply, well, if not, there we go. Or maybe I could just move the redirect here. I don't know. This is what I would consider monkey patchy. I wrote this with one thing in mind, and now I'm going back and I'm saying, well, I don't have a good clean way to do this, so how can I just make it work? Okay, but that said, I think I can move this in further. I think that makes a lot of sense. I can move this up here, because that makes a lot of sense. I don't need to pass this in, actually. So really, all I have to do is the untrusted URL, because I know the trusted URL I'm handling correctly right there. And then I guess I could just return this. That makes this pretty simple. To do. Throw if not throw instead of false. I'm going to think about that. Okay, so that's pretty simple. And then just for consistency, what we're also going to do is we're going to call this complete. And I'm just going to move this over to there. That way this just reads a little bit better. Okay. So I'm multiplexing this route, meaning that it does two distinctly different things. And normally I wouldn't do that, but in this particular case, because I want the configuration to stay relatively small, I think that it's okay to do that. So when the front end posts to this route, let me just go through this one more time. I'm going to go through this through the top. I'm going to explain it. And I'm explaining it for my benefit, but I'm explaining it to you because you're there, right? So I need to think through this whole set of code. And the goal is, in general, while you're writing code, it's good to take small chunks of code and test them. Sometimes it's more difficult when you're working in a project where the project's already established and you don't have a good test harness in place. But you should know whether or not the test is going to pass before you run the test. The test is to catch human error, not human stupidity, let's say. So when I look at this, or maybe stupidity is not the right word, ignorance. The idea is that you use the melon on top of your shoulders before you run the test. Not necessarily before you run the test. What I'm trying to say is you should know the output of your code. You should know that your code is correct before you run it. It's not going to be. When you run your test, it's going to fail and you're going to find out, where a bug is. But before you run the test and start going down that path of debugging, you should just go through the code and see, okay, does my code make sense? So I've got a little monkey patcher, which is just moving the ID token. This is if, this handles two scenarios. One, front end initiates Google sign-in Oidc redirect process. 2, Google responds with token and or failure. And this is good because actually I'm not handling the failure case right now. So I need to handle the failure case as well. And I'm not sure what the right way to go about that is. I probably should pass along whatever the parameters are that are sent. So here's what I'm going to do. Let me go back here. Let's see. All right, so I'm not ready to go through that full run through yet. When I send back rec.url query, and then let's call this search. No, that one's not the right one. That one we don't do that for. Okay. What is it? Complete. All right, so I'm complete. Final URL is state.u. And that redirect, that has to be this. So basically, we're going to do one of two things here. So if state.u includes a question mark, state.u equals, oh, I guess it should be final URL at this point, right? Final URL. Final URL. If it includes a question mark, then it's going to become final URL and then we're going to have rec.query let's see, let search equals new URL search params rec.query .toString. Okay. Otherwise, it's going to be that. There's our possible conditions there. Oh, and we didn't actually do our test here. See, that's the reason I think we should throw. Because sometimes I forget to actually do the test. It's not the first time that's happened. Okay. So. Okay, so the final URL is not a child of trusted URL. That's good. And then we're going to redirect to the final URL. Okay. All right, so now from the top. Because, oh, yeah, because that means that it should include any error messages. That's why I did that. So that it includes the error messages. But actually, come to think of it, by OIDC, come to think of it, rec.query.id token equals undefined and access token. So I'm just going to empty those out in case they're there. And I don't know if there's anything else I should empty out. I guess the state I should empty out as well, maybe. Okay. So I'm going to empty those out. Don't pass these to the front end. But if there's an error, we do want to pass it through to the front end. I think that's what we're saying. I don't know. I don't quite have the error handling scenario worked out for this yet. But let's go back down to the bottom, and then I'm going to continue from the top again. So this handles two scenarios. Front end initiates, Google sign in, redirect process, Google responds with a token and or failure. So in this case, browser is redirected to Google. Browser is redirected back to the initial refer. Okay, and now that we have that set up, to tell the truth, I think it would be okay if we didn't just require the refer. We could also have a redirect URL. But I don't want to call it redirect URL. That's the right name for it. But the problem is there's two different types of redirect URL. So we're just gonna go with this for now. I'm gonna say to do problem is just that name, redirect URI, redirect URL. It's not a good name. Okay. All right. So it's going to handle both of these cases. Okay. This is, all right, so instead of calling this monkey patch, let's say upgrade Google response. All right, a little monkey patch for the token verifier. Switches Google's ID token query param to a bearer. For bearer, because that's what the token verifier expects. All right, so that's clear. That's a good comment. I understand what that's doing there. So when it gets to the verify Google token, yeah, it's going to get the right thing. Optional true. Optional because I'm going to say 2. This is for 2. 1. Optional because the process starts without an ID token. Starts with a request for an ID token. And obviously no ID token can be present yet. All right. And then redirect Google sign-in. This handles both processes. Okay. All right. Hey, how's it going? Welcome. I'm AJ. I'd love to know who you are, what brings you to the channel tonight. Feel free to ask questions, any questions that are burning in your heart, even about life, the universe, and everything. All questions are welcome here, almost. There's probably some I'd have to turn you away for, but let's see. All right, so this is good. This is good. This is commented. Feel good about it. All right. So let's go back up to the top here, and this is where this is handled. All right, we've got a hard-coded URL. I don't like that, but it's going to work for now. We've got this login URL thing going on. The trusted URL is one of these, and then we probably do this a little bit better. In fact, I think I will. Let's just do it this way. I think this is actually perhaps more clear in terms of code. You can always feel free to tell me. So I optimize not for cleverness, but for clarity. Cleverness is bad, clarity is good. So if you see me do something that could be done in a way that is simpler, meaning stupider, meaning that someone who is more of an idiot can understand, as opposed to something that is clever, because sometimes people mistake simpler for meaning fewer keystrokes. Often fewer keystrokes means cleverer in the stupid way, but not the right kind of stupid. The stupid as in, that's a bad mistake, not stupid as in ignorant. Optimize for ignorance, not for cleverness. Anyway. All right, so that's probably the right way to go about that problem. Yep. So we're just ensure the URL ends with / for the purposes of checking. Is checking the right thing to say here? Purposes of, yeah, checking, sure. All right, so this is appropriate, actually. That should never happen. That should be impossible. All right, so go through. We've got our trusted URL. We've got our little function that checks the trusted URL against an untrusted URL. If the untrusted URL starts with the trusted URL, then it is trustworthy. We initiate the process. So I'm going to call this redirect to Google instead of initiate. And then instead of complete, we're going to say redirect to app. Maybe? I don't know. Complete? Sure. Whatever. All right, so let's step through this again. So I'm going with the refer or back to the app if there is no refer. We're going to... Again, I could probably do, we don't need that there. All right. Is it unsafe? If it's unsafe, then we just want to redirect with an error or end with an error. Because that's a developer error, so we don't need to worry about how pretty it is. It would be nice if it was pretty, but we're not going to worry about that now. That's outside of the scope of what we're doing today. Because the user's not going to see this because the user did something wrong. They'd only see this if the developer did something wrong. So, all right. So if this is the prefix of this, then it's safe. If it's not, it's unsafe. There we go. Okay, so we did the security on that user redirect. I might just call it final redirect instead of user, or requested. Requested? Because it's not final, it's requested. So let's, instead of saying user, let's say requested. Because it's not really about the user, it's about the developer at this point still. So let's just say user redirect is requested redirect. All right, there's only a couple places where we need to use that. Okay, so we come down here, we're setting up the state to say, hey, this is where we want to redirect back to, and we're just creating some random nonsense just for a little bit of entropy here. And we could put a checksum in there to make sure it's not been tampered with, but I don't think it really matters because the requested redirect is good enough. Okay, so let's see then, to URL base64 JSON stringify state. Yeah, so we're just getting that as base64, and we're going to append it to our URL that goes out to Google. State is an allowed parameter, so Google's going to hand that back to us, whether it comes back with an error or a success. It should come back to us with that state, so we'll know where the redirect should go to. We know what the base URL is, and then this redirect URL right here is it's just redirecting back to itself. Okay, so that makes sense. So we did that. To do is to done. All right, that to do is to done. And then we're going to pass through the scope. We're going to pass through the login hint. We're going to pass through, I don't think we have either of those, but we're just going to pass them through straight from the client. And then we do a 302 redirect, which is the right kind of redirect to do for this, which is a temporary redirect because we don't always want to Google. We want to redirect to Google with a different state parameter every time. So this should absolutely not be found, aka temporary redirect. All right, let me go make sure this is annotated the same way. So this should be annotated the same way. All right. Okay, so this feels good. I feel good about that. Process is good. All right, now when we complete it, this is coming back from Google. So we're going to get the query state from Google. Maybe should put a try catch around this, but really again, Google's not going to give us a malformed URL. The user isn't going to have the capability of giving us a malformed URL. Only a bad actor could give us a malformed URL, and we don't care if a bad actor sees an error message for this. I don't think. Oh, whoops, but we do need base64 buffer.from. Okay, good. There we go. Glad I saw that. All right, so now we're parsing it as base64, so it becomes JSON, and then we're parsing it as JSON, so it becomes an object. Now we have our final URL right here. And then we wipe out some things we don't want to pass to the front end, and then we actually just take our query object and get it ready to pass to the front end. So our search is whatever we got from Google. So this is the stuff that came from Google. Pass what Google gave us, such as errors, to the front end. Okay. So if we did have an error, though, we don't want to run the by OIDC, I think. I think that's where we don't want to do that part. So I got to think about that. Let me check. Do we have any comments here or anything? Nope. All right. So now we're doing the same is unsafe check that we were doing before. So nothing interesting about that. All right. And then we're going to construct that search query. In fact, we could just take this whole thing and move this down here. I think that's a little bit easier to reason about in that order. Okay, now, here's the tough part. Really, we only want to do this if we have rec.headers.authorization. Because otherwise, we don't even want to try this. Now, oh, and this is async, so we need to await that. Good thing I was checking that out. Of course. And let's just go ahead and say this thing's async. I don't think there's actually anything async about it, but just for consistency, everything's async here. Okay, 145. What went wrong? What went wrong here? Okay, something went wrong. Where did it start going wrong? Oh, that's it. That was it. Okay. Put the async in the wrong place. Duh. All right. Okay, there we are. So I think this is done. We got to test it somehow, but I think that it actually is correct. I think it will do the things that it is supposed to do. The question is, what do I do about those tokens? Do I pass that back? Because it almost seems like I should pass that back. Gotta think on that one. Let's see. Else to do return tokens. This whole thing is trying to get deprecated anyway, so yeah, I'm not quite sure how to handle that. All right, let's go ahead and test this somehow. That's the big question. How do we test this? Also, I think it's a good stopping point to say Oidc redirect. That's what we're working on here. Lib Oidc. Lib session. Git commit -m whip. Add Google sign-in redirect. Yeah, we'll just go ahead and push this like so, like that. All right, so what does this do? Git /API Authn sessions. Let me make sure I got this all right. Oidc accounts.google.com/redirect. JavaScriptless Google sign-in. So basically now we can do this. Let's say we can have a ref equals Google sign-in. Now, creating a button like this, a link like this. Now we should be able to get through the Google sign-in process with server-side redirects only. Create a link like this, and then check for, then check the URL query params for errors. If none, try to get a token. And I don't remember what the try to get a token bit was, but I think it was API Authn exchange, no, refresh. I think that was it. Let me double check on this. Okay, refresh. API Authn refresh. Yep, I think that's it. Oh, and we got to block the bot. Goodbye, bot. Nice. We blocked the bot. Let's see. Okay. Just responded to somebody real quick that he can hit me up on Discord and we can do a workshop together. Just kind of working through some code together. That invitation is open to y'all as well. If you want to workshop some code together, we can. All right, so I think this is right. All right, so then it would be what? Let resp equals let tokens equals rest.json, right? Console.info tokens.id token, most likely. Tokens.access token. Okay, so the question is, where is a good installation that I can test against on this? Because I don't know. I had a junk. Let me go check and see where I gotta go check the Google dashboard, Google Developer Dashboard, and figure out where I have. Oh, wait, we need a couple of things. So first, this is actually number 2. So we need 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Oops, 1, 2, 3. First thing we need to do is update the redirect URL in the Google dashboard. And then I want to say example would be https app.example.com. I'll just say example.com. There we go. All right, I wonder what if I get rid of the PLI equals 1. Does that still redirect me to the correct dashboard? Yeah, it does. We can get rid of the PLI equals 1, I suppose. Shorter. In this case, it's better. Okay. So over here, I am looking at. Okay, I had a demo site up here. Where did my demo site go? I've got an idea. Oh, hey, welcome. I'm looking at my other screen right now. I'm in my Google console. I need to add the redirect URL that I just created into the Google console. And I don't have my test app up for this anymore. And the production app that I have, I don't need to do it this way. Hey, what's up, Kai? You just published your own video while trying to catch up with my content. So wait, you're publishing a video and watching some of my content at the same time? Is that what you're saying? Because I don't know if I could do that. Oh, good. One of the authorized origins here is localhost for this, so I might still be able to do this. Okay, cool. I think I can maybe localhost this. We'll see. All right, and I'm going to add an authorized redirect URI. Holy bejeebies. This is going to be a rough one. So, okay, let's test this and see if it works. To be honest, I'm getting a little bit tired. It's a little early to get tired, but you know, the new year and all that. Seems serendipitous that you are looking at auth today as well as I was bemoaning what a pita cognito is. Yeah. I don't like to deal with Amazon stuff if I can avoid it. I think that they make it overcomplicated so that they can sell people on the idea that it's really simple because of their training courses or something or other. But I don't think I've ever come across, oh, this is too hot. This is too hot. My heater's too far away. And it's too hot. I can't pull it over. Ooh, hot, hot. Come closer, heater. There we are. There we are. Yeah, you little heater, you just come right here. All right, I'm going to turn the heat down on you. Bring you closer and turn the heat down. There we go. Yeah. Anyway. Yeah, and this Auth3000 project it's ongoing. I'd love to get it in a state where I can release it as a V1, but it's just as I'm doing stuff through a couple of different clients and work, I'm modifying it a little here, a little there. And I think there's one fairly large API change, a change that we'd be breaking and not in a easy to do backwards incompatible way before I want to release this as a V1. But the goal with this eventually is just to be auth in a box so that you can either use it as a library or you can use it as a service or you can use it self-hosted, but that it gives you some Auth0-like capability and actually to be simpler than Passport, because I think that the problem with Passport is that it has lousy abstractions. It has what I refer to as useless abstractions, because there are abstractions that abstract away things that there's no value in abstracting them away. So I give you an example of what I would consider to be a lousy abstraction. Okay, status code. This is not as bad as, because with Passport it makes it so you can't get to things at all, period, that you need to be able to get to. But I think that status code is a relatively lousy abstraction in Express, because this is not hard. And I don't think it's worth saving, 4 or 5 keystrokes in order to have res.status be a function. To me, that doesn't make any sense. Just use res.status code. So that's what I consider to be a lousy abstraction, because the abstraction doesn't save you anything. It just removes you from the core code. And Passport does a lot of that. There's just a lot of lousy abstractions in Passport. And I am a little bit bitter about Passport because I did spend an entire weekend once working with someone on a PR and having lots of back and forth, and the person not knowing what they wanted to write it if they had written it themselves, and then being nitpicky about essentially internal variable names. So let's see. Oh, I see you're doing some Google login stuff. I'll check that out. That's probably, I'm imagining that's probably a lot simpler than this, because this is more along the lines of what Passport does in terms of being able to handle multiple providers and multiple strategies, but just trying to be less abstract about it in terms of you always get access to the request object, and now I'm realizing that I also want you to always have access to the response object, and that's the breaking change, that there are certain pieces that can't be completely backwards compatible. Anyway, let me move on with this. My hope is to somehow get this to work. So I'm going to put here an index.html, and I'm going to throw in, see, social login. I'm actually going to put in here, I'm going to comment this one out. And instead, I'm going to put in href for what I just showed. Which this feels a little too long as well. And it doesn't feel scoped quite correctly, because I don't know if sessions is any longer the correct scope for that. But we'll see. Anyway, that change maybe should work. Let's see. What if I just run npm start? Feels dangerous. But we'll see. Can I just log in? It's been so long since I've tested this on localhost. And I don't like to test on localhost anyway. Cannot provide a secure connection. That's okay. Can we just step that back to HTTP for a sec? Unexpected error on the server. That seems that die. Oh no. So something went wrong here. Oh, I know what went wrong. I know what went wrong. What went wrong in this particular case was simply that I got rid of, and my error message is wrong because it's assuming that errors that are unhandled are happening on the server, which is not the case. So if I just change this to a span and display none, there we go. That'll be good enough. Oh, I guess I can leave it as an A. I just need to make it display none. There. Okay, so let's refresh. Fingers crossed, y'all. This is the moment of truth. This is where I have to just, be sad about things not working. No, that's not so bad. That's not so bad at all. That's an easy one to fix. Okay, we're going to fix it. Okay, let me check comments here. Oh, we got some spam. So, Kai, I have been working on this auth stuff for the better part of 10 years now and then. And every time I've come up with an implementation, something about web standards has changed, and then I've had to throw all my work away. Every single time. So finally, I've given up on trying to do anything similar to what I really wanted to do, other than just JWT. But a lot of other stuff I haven't. So I've gone through this auth stuff so many times. It's just been so disappointing to have so few times that it's come to fruition. Thing that does my head in is the client ID and all the secret token stuff for each social media login. So tell me, why does that do your head in? I don't think that we need client IDs. because all your domain is your client ID. Done. I think the reason that they have client IDs is because in a mobile app, you don't necessarily have a domain, but still, your client ID could just be your domain. That's the way I see it. Client ID should be domain. End of story. And that's one of the things with, if I expand this out into an OAuth service, which is what I eventually expect it to be, there will be no registration. You will not have to register to use it because your domain will be your client ID. Now, there will be a way to have an alias because sometimes you might have multiple domains and you might want them to be associated with the same client. But I think the way that I'd like to do that is just basically have a well-known file at the root domain that says these are other domains that are allowed to use this domain as their client ID. And then you've got a trust model in there as well. Yeah. Although refer is getting a little bit weird. Oh, man. Browsers, man. Browsers. Oh. Because we've got refer and we've got origin. And I think, is there another one called authority now? Because they keep on screwing up. So they keep on making new ones. I mean, granted, the refer one was never intended for security anyway. It was just intended for convenience, but yeah. Okay. I was going to fix this problem. So this problem's super simple. I just haven't actually plugged this in yet. So there is a bit down here. Let's go to Google. By OIDC. Where's that at? By OIDC. By where am I at? Where am I at? Let me go back in here. Hold on. There's something I'm not looking at. Wait, I just did the get. Session OIDC accounts.google.com redirect. Did I type this wrong? API Authn sessions. Ah, there's my problem. Typo. Okay. Get rid of the extra S. All right, let's sessions. Nope. Let's edit that over here. Okay, auth session. There's only one session for the user at any given time. So that kind of makes sense. And then over here, I just need to update that in my issue that I was creating. Right? Session. Do we have any more sessions? Bah, humbug. All right, let's get rid of this one, get rid of this one. I don't need this one. I don't need that one anymore. All right. So with that all done, I may just be able to run npm start again and just, well, let's go back. Let's go back, refresh, because if I don't refresh, it'll just send me to the same thing again. Oh, great. This is great. You can't sign into this app because it doesn't comply with Google's OAuth 2 policy for keeping apps secure. All right, what are the details? All right. Redirect URI. Oh, okay. This is just a simple matter of a function has some parameters in the wrong order. So let's take a look at this. Base URL, client ID, redirect URI, state, scope, login hint. So that's being used wrong somewhere. Generate OIDC. So over in lib OIDC accounts Google redirect generate there. Oh, that state is there and state ought to be here. Okay, good. Very simple fix. All right, let's try it again. Oh, it's over here. So we just need to restart this one. I could put watch exec on that, but I'm not going to right now. All right, sweet. So no problemo there. Refresh. Don't think we need to refresh, but we'll refresh anyway. And, oh, different authorization error. Okay. Authorized origins. That's correct. Let's try to find out what's going on here. I think what may be happening, unfortunately, is this may be a caching problem. Because instead of adding a new authorized redirect URL, I changed the existing one. And so we might be dealing with a caching problem here where this actually is correct. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to save back the old one with sessions with the wrong name. And then I think I saw a comment. I'm going to check that in just a second. And then I'm going to add another one that is spelled session. This is just pro tip in general. If you want to avoid caching problems with especially large systems because they take a few minutes to update, I think that's our problem. Because this is the one that I changed the S for. Let's just take a look. What's the difference between this? Oh, interesting. Oh, I need to use original URL. Okay, so that's a bug there. Let me check. Let me fix this, and then I'll look at that other thing. Oh, looks like another comment just came in. Okay, so what I'm going to do then, we're going to do rec.original URL. And actually, let's do this. Self URL equals, because I want this to work. I generally like to write my stuff in such a way that it could work if it weren't Express. That's kind of silly, I have to admit, but I like to keep as far away from... I like things to be composable, not inheritable, I guess is maybe the way to put it. I like to use things, not to be encompassed by things. All right, so with that change, oops, I can see, all right, this might work. Now let me take a look at some comments quick before I move on. Need to take a cheese break. Ooh, yeah. Thanks for suggesting that. I do need to take a cheese break. All right, invalid scope. Sweet. Oh yeah, now we're cooking with fire. So this is great. Now we're on to minutia. This is wonderful. All right, so scope, or I think email might be the right one to use. Let me see what scopes we had in the other. Let's go look here. Email profile. There we go. Hacky, hacky, hacky ho. What does the fox say? All right. Getting closer and closer all the time. Feeling really good. Yes. Oh, that's wonderful. Okay. So what I should have done, actually, I changed the wrong thing in here. So what I did, in not that function, in this function, these should have been no scope and no hint. That's what that should have been. Okay. So now I think I could go back. We're gonna go forward with this. Okay. One more time. Refresh. We don't need to refresh because the link isn't changing. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. This is good. Oh, it's doing a lot of redirect there. Okay, so I think what's happening is we did not get our state parameter back, which would be bad. That's a flaw in my understanding or something. But we're just doing redirects over and over again. This is okay. We're going to go check out what we're redirecting to over and over and over and over again. Final URL. Yeah, so the reason okay. Console.log debug rec.url rec.query. Okay. Let's figure out what's going on here. Because it's redirecting to itself too many times. Huh. Seems unlikely. Oh, bother. Can we not do this way? Okay, I may have used the wrong type of let's see. Response type equals, dang it. Access type equals online. I need to change the response type. Because I have it being the client-side flow, not the server-side flow. Which means I'm probably going to have to do one more step. It's okay, it won't be too bad. Maybe. All right, step 1. Set authorization params. What do we got here? Hey, Tisha, what's up? We're just doing a little code here. Response type. Needs to be code for server-side parameters, of course. All right. So we have to change response type to code, which means that, let's see, this is going to be a little bit wrong still, but, so Tisha, have you been on the channel before? What you all doing tonight? We're coding. That's what we be doing. We be coding. We be coding. Okay. All right. Let's State is undefined. It's kind of weird. So we get code, we get scope, we get, oh, we got a couple things back. Oh, so it's all of the scopes that we were given. Let's see. Access token, ID token, prompt equals none. Auth user equals 0. Okay, cool. So I'm just going to need to take that code. So we got the state back though, right? Yeah. Okay. I am new and I am really into code. Where are you from? Well, this stream tonight is not necessarily a beginner stream. I mean, I think there's a lot of value in just watching and just getting used to the words that are used, the different syntaxes that you see. I think there is value in that. This is a lot of my streams. So I usually, when it's really good beginner material, I put it on my Beyond Code channel as well. But a lot of this live stuff is me doing real work. And so I try to speak out loud. I try to say what I'm doing. I'm getting a little bit tired right now, so I'm having a little bit of a rougher time of emphasizing everything. But this is not something that you're going to understand. If you're most people who have 5 years of experience have no idea what I'm doing right now. Not new to code. US. So you're in the US. Wait, all right. So why can't you spell code correctly if you're in the US? That's what. Because you're using really bad grammar, right? So I could think, are you trolling, or how can you not spell really in code? That's what I want to know. Or maybe I don't want to know. Let's see. Oh gosh, it's getting late. My brain. I don't think another Mountain Dew is going to solve the problem. I think that I'm going to have to wrap this up and then call it a night. So was state undefined? You know what stinks? This doesn't work the way that I'd like it to work. That's what stinks. To do remove rather than set undefined. See, a good stringifier will not. This is sad. This is sad to me that you can pass something in here and then when it toStringifies it, it puts out the undefineds. It should just omit them, like what JSON does. A good stringifier of something should omit undefined values, not null values, but undefined values. I'm going to say this. We'll do it this way. There we go. All right, now where... Okay, now I got to think a little bit more about how to do this. Because it's not going to have an ID token, bleh, which means that my whole verify Google token bit here. It's going to have to happen inside of this, which then I'm going to have to handle the next function. I don't want to do that this way. Oh well, that's what I got to do. See if I can find another way to use this. Token verifier. There's the function there. And then what else we got? Verify Google token returns verify Oidc token. Yeah, I'm just going to have to deal with it that way, it looks like. All right, well, I guess that was the end of Tisha. Are you still there? All right. All right, so my problem is that you know what? No, here's a really good one. I know what to do. I know what to do. So we're going to say if it's not rec.query.code, that's where we're going to call next and return. Okay. But if we have rec.query.code, then we just need to go exchange the code for the token, and I'm going to go look at the GitHub implementation I have for that, because I don't remember off the top of my head the way that I should be doing this. But that means I'm going to need the client secret as well. Let me go check in the other window here if I've got the client secret. Do we have a client secret for Google? We have a client ID for Google. Oh, client ID. But we do not have the Google client secret, but we're going to need the Google client secret. All right. I'm going to have to go get my Google client secret for this. I might have to regenerate it because I don't think I saved the Google client secret. That would stink. Oh, no, here it is. I got it. I like how the ID is 1,000,000 characters long and the secret is not. It's kind of hilarious. Okay. All right, so basically, let me go check the OIDC thing here. accounts.google.com/.well-known OIDC configuration, right? This is it? Nope. Okay. Let me go check out my blog where I put that in there. Oh, it's called OpenID configuration. That's what it is. All right. So here we are. Oh, token endpoint. This is probably what I need to do. Device authorization endpoint, authorization endpoint. So I want to exchange. I want to exchange the code authorization endpoint. That's not the inspect endpoint, right? Okay, what have I got to do here? Do I have this in my blog already? All right, OIDC token exchange endpoint. Let's do code exchange. Oh, okay. I think it is at this code. Let's see. Where do we have code equals? Cool. Token request is going to what? Slash token? Okay. So I should post to this with the code. Blah, 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 blah. All right, we'll see what we can do. Yeah, it's a form. Okay. Do the same thing over here. All right, so we need google.clientID, google.clientSecret, rec.query.code. I don't really care about the state right now. This should be async anyway. And then let me go grab the request object. And we should have... that's not what I want this to be. I want this to be... Well, we're going to use that right now. So I like to, with the request object, it's nice to have the request object because there's going to be default options that you're going to want to set pretty generically in your application for the way that you do requests. So it's nice to have it in, say, lib request, so that you're not requiring the library directly, but you're requiring your initialized version of it. But we're just going to toss this in here for now. Code like Toad. This is a little bit awkward because where okay, this one is okay, this actually should be OIDC config dot and then something. What is it? Authorization endpoint. That's what this should be. So my question is, where is my OIDC config for this? Where did I put it? The answer might be somewhere. OpenID configuration. That's all right here. Nope, that's interesting. So I'm not really using that like I'm supposed to. All right, well. I think as part of the setup process, this should fetch the OIDC information. I could make it fetch it on every route. I guess that's fair. All right, so let's do this. We're going to have a fetch OIDC config. But really, I've already got this set up somewhere else. What other code do I have this in? There's got to be a better place for me to go grab this. Well, there really isn't, is there? Because it's all embedded deeper, the places where I have it. But you know what? I know some sample code where I already have this built out. So I'm going to go look for the sample code real quick. Yeah, I had an OIDC inspect endpoint here. Here it is. I'm going to bring this over in just a second. Just going to copy pasta. All right, so we're going to have a little OIDC. I guess I should call it git config. We're going to do this a little bit differently than what I've done here, because really we're just worried about the issuer. And so if not issuer, then yeah, I don't want to deal with that error right now. Oh, and I had an ensure trailing slash function. Oh, you know what? I totally forgot about ends with, duh. So there's a couple places I need to go fix that up real quick. Hold on. Whoop. There we go. This is all right. Hey, welcome. I'm AJ. I am just working on some auth code stuff. I'm getting kind of tired, so we'll see how much longer I can keep this up. Feel free to ask questions about anything. All right, then must OK. Yeah, I should probably bring my must OK function over. It's nice to have a must OK function. All right, I'm going to have to clean this up before I finally commit it. Oh, and I'm going to have to bring my error handler over. Or do I already have... no, I've already got an error thing, don't I? Lib errors. Yeah, I've already got a lib errors here. What is this? Create message, code, code redeemed, code retry, unverified, code invalid, enhancer calm. Yeah, so I've already got some good stuff here. What should I... Do I have a bad gateway in here? Bad. I don't have a bad gateway. Should add a bad gateway. Maybe OIDC bad gateway. Probably. Let's try that. We're going to create an OIDC bad gateway. All right, so it's the most likely developer mistakes. Here we go. And then what do I want to put in here? I don't know that I really want to put this here. So I need a new error message. Let's see, how did I do it over on this side? Where's my bad gateway message over on this in this code base? All right, bad gateway. I just put in a message and then I just bring this over here. This is my bad gateway message. Is I create an error. And then I just pass this stuff in, right? Okay. And this is the same as these, right? Just all of this begins with an E. And then where's the create at? Create has a message, status, code, and details. So what do we got here? Message, status, code, and details. Yeah, like this. Okay, that looks good enough to me. I'm going to go with this. It's not quite the right error code, but again, I just need to get something working right now. So I'm going to worry about that a little bit later. All right, so up from here, going up one level would be lib, and that's where errors is. So we can just do let errors equals require .errors.js. And then okay, so here we have git config. And we just give it the issuer. We should get back the config, right? And then I'm going to put in here to do, check cache headers cache for 5 minutes. Because I don't want to really be getting this over and over and over and over and over and over and over again when I don't need to. So before that goes to prod, I'd like to get that in. All right, so this one would be create, and then we'd take the message here, and then we would give code and status, right? Errors.create bad gateway. No, that's not actually what I wanted though, right? Because here I'm exporting all this, right? So OIDC bad gateway. OIDC bad gateway. And then I'm just because that's the only place I'm using it. That's why I'm going to do OIDC bad gateway as opposed to just bad gateway in general. Yeah, it's still, but we don't do anything with the details. So details. Yeah. Hey, how's it going, Woocha? Long time no see. Okay, I'm really close to this. I'm really, really close. Okay, so over here, so I need to create a function fetch OIDC config. I'm just going to put that up top. Fetch OIDC config. And then what does it need to be? See, some of the stuff is just so generic to any thing. Gosh. I need to just put in here let issuer equals. There should be a way to specify that I want to use exactly what Google does, but with a different issuer maybe. I guess that's generally just OIDC in general. Okay. Okay, this is what I need to do. I think. All right, there we go. So we're going to have OIDC config on the rec object. Right? Yeah. And so then where did that little bit go? Right here. So this actually should be .authorization endpoint. Yeah, like that. That's what this should be. Oh, redirect Google client sign-in. Let's see. Where do I actually need that? Here? Ah, bless me. Okay, this is where I actually need that. And it should be available by here for sure. Okay, so that one's taken care of. And then the token endpoint should be the same. So I shouldn't hard code the token endpoint. I should be able to grab the token endpoint from the config. So we should have, and this is not even base URL. That's not the right term for this. This would be literally auth URL. There we go. And then, so I want to take this with the token endpoint, which is going to be, oops. Where's my code at? There we go. So now I got my client secret for Google, and you got to make sure that I get that passed in. That's not currently, I don't think that's currently available anywhere. So I need to check on that in just 1 second. But first, Oidc token URL should be, what is it called? Token endpoint? Token endpoint. And this should be a post, I'm pretty sure. I think that's just what it's spec'd as. I see some comments are coming in. I'll get to those in just a second. I need to use my limited brain capacity to get this as done as I can. I thought it was going to take about 2 hours, but, you know, we would have been done if it was passing the ID token with a query parameter, but it's not, which means that I had to implement more flow than I realized I was going to need to implement. But we're almost there. We're really, really close. It's just that my limited brain power is okay. Example app, client ID, excellent. Client secret, here we are. And I will look at the comments in just a second. Google client secret. And that's what I think I've got it called over here, yeah? Let me just double check on that. It's called Google client secret. Okay, good. Okay. This is good. This is good. All right, so the Google client secret is going to be coming through then. Yep, all right, so that gets passed through straight, right there. Straight, no chaser, as we say in the ghetto fabulous world of whatever it is I'm saying. It's night. It's too late. See, it's happening. It's happening. The lateness, it's impeding my brain flow. Okay, did we get everything? Okay, to do centralize in lib request.js. Initialize and require from. Okay, let me check up on comments here. One of my biggest fears when I'm eventually working in web development, what if it took me 3 hours to complete a task when a more experienced developer would have done it in 30 minutes? You can never know. You can never know. I wouldn't worry about that. This is one of the problems with hourly rates as opposed to value rates, because you got to ask a question of how much would it be worth if you could get this feature, period. And then you gotta, as a developer, you gotta ask, well, what if it took me 3 weeks instead of 3 days? Is that value, does it? So you can kind of, you kind of got to go into it with a perspective of what's the acceptable loss on exploration. So every project needs to have exploration loss. So you can get so far into a project and say, okay, I can tell now that I am 10 times deeper into this than what I thought I was going to be, or 100 times. It's just like, this is way, way more complex. And at that point, you can say, all right, we can cut the losses, just get paid for the exploration, cut the losses, right? Or we can say, yeah, we got to update what we, think the estimate on this is going to be. Update expectations. I think that's the thing is just communicate and update expectations. And however much time you think it's going to take you, I'd say just multiply by 10 anyway. If you think it's going to take you 30 minutes, then multiply by 10. So multiplying by 2 would give you an hour. So say it's going to take 5 hours. If you think something's going to take you 30 minutes to an hour, plan an entire day for it. And this is just true across the board. It's just the way it is. Okay. How would you handle a boss that is expecting results in a timely fashion? Again, we just keep communication lines open. All deadlines are arbitrary. Deadlines are good for a person like me in particular. I like having deadlines, but all deadlines are arbitrary. And I would say that if the deadline is too immediate, I would say it's a lot like this. It's a lot like dating, right? If you're dating somebody and they need you to have a commitment in an unreasonable amount of time. They need you to commit to some level of physicality, or they need you to commit to some level of Facebook status within an unreasonable amount of time, within a day or 2 days or 3 days. Not like, yeah, for me, I need to know that within a month we can get to this level, if that that's how we go. But that they need it that week, right? Something's wrong with that person or that situation. If they're getting this sense of anxiety or the sense of neediness, right? Or if you are, if you need someone's attention that badly. And so I bring up dating because I think we've all experienced the anxiety that is caused by human hormones. But the same thing happens with work. If somebody's got a sales presentation and they need the demo within 3 days, then something's wrong in the way that business is working. Sometimes, the deadline is set so that, so there is a deadline to work against. But if it gets to the point where somebody needs something really quickly, it's a red flag, because it's not going to go well. Even if it gets done, there's going to be some little, let's say that you hand it off, right? You as the developer hand off. You've done your testing. It works for you. It works on your machine. It works in the demo environment. When the demo actually happens, it's not going to work. I don't know what's going to go wrong. No one knows what's going to go wrong, but it's not going to work. So when they actually do the marketing presentation, what they're going to end up doing 10 times out of 9 is Wizard of Ozing, which is basically they're going to take PowerPoint presentation slides and they're going to screenshot them. And then every time they go to click somewhere, it's going to do a little letter spinning, and then it's going to go to the next image. And that's how that presentation is actually going to go. The deadline is usually just to get some fire under the developers, but it never ends up with a working demo in the presentation. It always goes back to Wizard of Ozing. Wizard of Ozing is a technical term for what I just described. Okay, let's see what else. Only thing you can't install is a brain. For everything else, there's NPM. No comment. Troll. Yeah, exactly. Okay. Now, where was I at? Y'all woke me up a little bit. I appreciate that. Now I can't remember what the heck I'm doing. I don't appreciate that. Okay, this is the bit that I'm just about ready to try. I think I'm at the point to try this. And then what? So if this works, okay, let's go back to the GitHub example here. REST to JSON body, what, the letter L? Who am I to say? Maybe it's right. That's kind of weird. Didn't I just construct the URL? Oh, I'm doing this to make sure that it's valid, probably. That it's not broken. I don't know. Or maybe there was some other code here and then this got reduced down to this, because basically there's no need for me to parse this and then turn it back into a string. I'm not doing anything with it. I'm not setting any additional options. Okay. Let's go back though. So yeah, rest dot JSON.body. Okay, so this should have the token in it, and then I should be able to pass the token there, and then we should be gravy from that point forward. So we're not going to get the ID token back like that. It's either going to be, let's see, let ID token equal, I guess we could do it this way, ID token, but if not that, then it's going to be that we parse it. And to tell you the truth, I don't know which way it's going to be. I would hope that we get it back as JSON, but let me take a look at the spec again real quick and see if I can tell. It says token request. What does it say about the response? Oh, good. Good. It's spec'd to come back as JSON. Good. I like that. Which means that this should be true right here. Okay. Debug. All right. So this should work. I have a feeling there's going to be maybe one more change, two more changes, but I think we're there. I think we're there. Okay. Oh. Unsupported grant type. Okay. I think I have to put here authorization code. Oh, and then do I have to next this? Yeah, I gotta next it. Duh. So debug code. All right. We're getting so close, and yet so far, and in the end, it doesn't even matter. All right. Auth token could not be verified because it is malformed. That's it's wonderful. Missing parameter redirect URI. What? What do you mean missing parameter redirect URI? Can we just send that? Hold on. I'm going to look at the comments in a second. I already put the daggone redirect thing together. Login URL. rec.url. Where was I know this thing was somewhere. Yeah. All right. So redirect back to itself. All right, so all this is looking good. So we're just going to find out what the missing parameters are one by one, I suppose, but that's all right. Okay. Let's see. Thank you for telling me good answer. Of course, it's been so long, I don't know which one we're talking about. Okay, error, invalid request. You can't sign in this app because it doesn't comply with Google's policy for keeping apps secure. You can't let the app that doesn't apply one or more of the following validation rules. Well, that stinks. That's not helpful. Okay, let's scroll back here. Grant type authorization code. Code is equal to this. Redirect URI is equal to that. Am I passing maybe extra things that I shouldn't be passing? Let's check into that real quick. Should I be passing client ID and client secret? I think I should. Grant type equals authorization code. Code is code. Maybe I should not be passing client secret because I've got the code, so I don't need the client secret. Maybe that's only needed for client authentication. And for signing, I don't think I need to sign anything right now. Client secret for the refresh. Server response. Okay. So I shouldn't need the client ID or the client secret here. Should just be the code, which I like. This is frustrating. I would really, 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 really like to know the full details, because that is not a good error description. Oh, duh. Maybe, no. This is browser redirect. Because it's a redirect, it's a get redirect. It goes through the browser. It can be localhost. I'm not really sure what to make of this. Oh. Yeah, it's got a bunch of policies, but it doesn't tell me which one I'm violating. So this is really obnoxious. This is just not a useful error message. When you get this error message, as we saw earlier, when you get this message through the browser, it gives you the ability to actually see, okay, what was the problem? But here, all we get is error, invalid request. It doesn't adhere to the policy. Well, looking in my, it's not. So add test users. I'm going to add myself as a test user. Let's see. Publishing status, testing. Okay. So maybe it's just because I'm doing a server-side flow and I didn't explicitly add myself as a test user, because on the browser flow, I don't know. It could just be a different security policy. So let's try it this way. Let's see, domain verification. I don't need to do any of that because it's just localhost stuff. All right. Okay, I'm going to check the comments in just a second. So I'm hoping maybe, because this was working in the browser, and I don't know what's different. I don't. Yeah, I just wish they'd give a daggone curl example here. Can we just see? Okay. That one makes sense. Client ID. Okay, this is all good. Redirect. Okay, scope, access type. Do I need to include state? Response type, code, state, redirect, client ID. Prompts for consent. Handle. So code. Yep, so I got the code. All right, sample auth to server response. All right, exchange. Client ID, client secret, code, grant type, redirect URI. All right, let's make sure that my client ID, my client secret match. I'm going to look at those comments in just a second. So my client ID is 1669Q8B. All right, Google client ID 1669. Q8B. All right, that looks good. Google client secret looks correct as well. All right. So I need client ID and client secret, code, grant type, redirect. All right, let's make sure we got all that. Client ID, client secret, code, grant type, redirect. So what I want to do here is we're going to console.log client secret.slice 01 plus slice -1. So I just want to get a feel for this is loading the right thing. Same thing here. We can just do client ID. We just let it all out. And then here, we could do code. We do the same thing, code.slice 0, 1 plus code.slice -1. So we got the first and last letter, and then redirect URI self URL. And let's see what it says about redirect URI. One of the redirect URIs listed in your console. So I wonder, code, client ID, client secret, redirect, grant type. Form URL encoded. I mean, I think all this stuff is right. We got the form. It's a post, yeah, because it's a post. Post to this. Let's just make sure. I mean, and the token URL must be right. Let's just look at that. Sorry, I will respond to that comment in just a second. As I keep saying, every few seconds. All right, let's try it again. Who knows? Maybe it'll work this time. Now that everything is double checked. Nope. All right, let's see. ID looks right. Secret looks right. Token URL looks right. Redirect URI is wrong. It's wrong as the day I was born. Why is it so wrong? Oh, good. Yes, indeed. This is why it is wrong as the day I was born. Cool. Good old sanity checks for us. All right. Now it's going to be great. No. What's wrong this time? Redirect URI mismatch? No. Let's. Oh, dang it. We got a problemo. Okay. I see where we got a problemo here. Original URL, I think in this case, actually captures the search query and all that stuff. So what we got to do then is we need new URL, and then we need to get path name, I think. New URL, https example.com/API/path path name. Yeah, there we go. Okay. Maybe that's a little better. All right. This is it. This is the magic one. I'm going to try this and then weep or celebrate. I'm going to go check out the comments. All right. Invalid URL. Oh, wait. So close. Okay. So here's the deal. This is going to be, this is so close. Okay. All right, so we're actually going to do this twice, as silly as this is. All right. All right, now, all right, come on, one more time. Invalid URL, again. Okay, wait, am I even in the right place? Because I could be actually in the wrong place. Where my fix is being applied. Yeah, because, hold on, self URL equals, because I'm doing the same thing here. We can shorten this just a touch by just going straight to this. Yeah. So let's take these three here and put them here. Sorry, I know I said I was going to go check, but it's just I'm so close, and I'm not crying about it. It's just a little stupid thing, you know? Yeah! All right, cool. We're getting a lot closer. Oh, great. Okay, great. This is excellent. This is excellent. We're just totally in the wrong spot right now. Self URL. Self URL. What? That doesn't make no sense. So wait, what if that's the self URL, then where? Self URL. Yeah. Yeah, there we go. That's the reason for that. Hey, oh, all right, cool. We're in a good place. I just got to fix something or other. All right. It's too generic, and now you have to spend a lot of time digging for an indicator into the actual problem. Yep, that's frustrating. Yep, 100%. That's exactly right. I could have read that sooner. Okay. But now we're in a good place. We're in a really, 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 really good place. And what does it say? Auth token could not be verified because it is malformed. All right. Redirect URI. Okay, so let's get to where we got these debugs here. What is this one for? I don't even remember what this is. Oh, this is debug redirect. There we go. All right. Oh. Eh. You say I don't need to break my concentration to read the chat, but maybe I do. Maybe I do. That's not what we need. Okay. So things are looking really good here. Oh, duh. I was misspelling this thing. Yeah, in this case, I should just to keep from confusion, should just keep to that. All right, here we are. We're coming along. We're coming along. All right, so it's still saying that it's malformed. It looks right to me, but let's go ahead and test it for malformedness. Let's see what we got. 1, 2, 3. Doesn't look malformed to me at all. All right. Let's see where this can possibly crop up. Okay. That seems kind of strange. It's only referenced in the documentation? Oh, E malformed. Right. Okay. All right, parse error. So let's take a look at that then, huh? Just kind of trace this down, parse error, decode JWT. So let's just console.log JWT, debug key fetch. Because I think what's happening now is that it's actually not getting the same information. And we should be, oh, the details should be coming through on the server side. Maybe I wasn't paying attention there. Okay. Do we have details coming through on the server side? Debug key fetch undefined. All right, well, I mean, that's a good indicator right there. So, okay. Could be, oh, I have a thought. I have a thought. It's a good one. It's a good one. It's one of these things that just bugs me every time. JSON true. Because we're expecting this back as JSON. Hey! Heyo! Cool. User does not have the required role. I wonder where that's coming from. Oh, because I don't actually want to send through, let's see. I think I know what this is about. Yeah, okay. I will, oh, dummy. The dummy user does not have the required role. Okay, that's probably okay. This is probably happening, yeah, at the dummy level. This is cool. All right, so I think we're pretty much done then. I would like to check out, let's see, dummy roles admin. Okay, and we did not do anything to give that particular user. So we have users.json, and let's see. Yeah, I didn't do anything to give, what am I saying, Polo accounts, what am I saying, his main ID. I don't remember exactly what this means, but I think basically I'd set this up in some way that okay, it's working. It's working. It's working. The error that we're seeing is because another part of the demo app isn't set up correctly for that user. All right. Okay, so bad news, guys. Y'all have seen my ID token. Now, well, you can get my email address and my name from my Google profile for the demo application. Okay, yeah, so let's, a couple things we need to do. First of all, let's add all these things like so. Now that we've staged them, let's go back and get rid of any console.logs. That was already there. Lib errors. Do we add any console logs here? Git diff lib errors. I think we just added a new error. And I'll check the chat in just a second. As always, just a second, just a second, just a second. I don't think I actually put that error in the right place, so let's go ahead and move that. So user could have created a bad token that has a bad gateway, or the developer could be allowing tokens. I don't know. All right. All right, maybe we don't log out secrets and stuff anymore. Okay, and let's just check the refresh did get a token, right? That's what I do want to be clear on. Refresh gets a token. Sweet. So work is done for the evening. Hours logged, work done. Or work completed, therefore whatever. So unfortunately, there's one other project that I committed to today that obviously didn't get done because it's 2 a.m. So I might be back on tomorrow night, not tomorrow during the day. Sunday is, supposed to be family day. I'm really bad about everything in life. But, yeah. And why is this? It seems like that thing in particular should just be known as part of what this is. Whatever. That's good. This is 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 good. I guess technically I should have verified the randomness of the state. I didn't actually do that, but again, that would require me. So, okay, I should sign the state in some way. And I could do this. I've got this little base 62 thing. I'm going to put a note here. Because it works as it gives you a 1 in 4 billion deal. So where was state at? Not in this one. And this one. Whoops. No, I wanted to vim this open. I can't keys correctly. Okay, state. All right, to do. Use base 62 CRC 32. And if you do this base 62 with a secure random dictionary, then you have a cheapo signing method. You have something that increases the size very little, but gives you a decent reliability. But again, the whole purpose of the state really as far as I've used it in the past, is basically just to connect it to the redirect URI, right? So signing it with the simple kind of way of signing it, it's not going to make that much of a difference versus just putting the data in there, as long as we check to make sure that the data is, we have to make sure the redirect URI is valid both times. That's the trade-off. If I was to store the state information that's supposed to be available across request in a database, then I wouldn't necessarily have to validate the redirect URI the second time around, because if it was right the first time around, it's going to be right the second time around. Whereas this one, because we're storing it inside of the state, then, Anyway, let's see here. What have I got going on? Got the upgrade Google response. If it's not a code, we just go next. If it is a code, then we do all this stuff. Now, if we just go next, what does that mean in this part? Upgrade Google response. We can't upgrade the Google response. And that's okay, but we will have a state. What we don't want to do is get this thing in a loop. We shouldn't be able to get this in a loop between Google. Google's going to give us the right information. And let's see if something... I like to think my brain's a little more clear if there's a way that you could get this in a redirect loop maliciously, having somebody click a link. I don't think so. All right, this all looks good. All right, cool. All right. Oh, whoops, I wanted to reword this. That's what I was trying to do there. Feet, Google. Just add Google sign in. Server side redirects for Google sign in. That's it. Okay, cool. So yeah. All right, now I'm going to read some comments. Oh, good. We've got the bot. Good. Love bots. I was thinking of tackling Google API for logging in. After watching this, good thing I didn't. This is way over my head. Still like to watch it though and pick up a few things. Well, so I am. Don't be too discouraged, because the way that I'm going about it is there are some existing libraries that you could leverage that will essentially do this for you. So if you go to where they have a link here. I don't know, but it's the little things. There are a lot of little things that even with their library you can still, you can still goof up. Let's see. There we go. So take a look at this. And let's see, when was this published? 2 years ago, looks like. Oh, Google APIs. And never mind. The Google APIs library in my... yeah. Okay, I'm not. So the problem with their libraries because I've actually done this. I've done this implementation as well. And yeah, I don't know that it takes less time because some of this stuff is, again, what I call bad abstractions, because or what did I call it earlier? Lousy abstractions, because the abstraction is just more things that you have to learn. So I'm looking at the raw request response objects as much as I can. Well, here, yeah, if I remember, there basically is no documentation for this. Let's see. There's no documentation in the style of it. What am I trying to say? That I don't know where the web page is that gives you the actual API documentation where you could search through API calls in the SDK. So you can find some samples. There's a lot of stuff here, but then they have some abstractions. Yeah. I think this might be newer than what I was using. I don't know. Tomato, potato. I spend a lot of time doing things myself that I could. I do spend a lot of time reinventing the wheel because I like to understand how things work. But then again, it just when I've used the official Google library, and I think I talk about this on the blog. This would help you get up with one of their libraries. This could help you get up and running pretty quickly. This one. This tells you which of the libraries you actually have to use. It tells you the steps that you need to go through. If all you want to do is implement Google Login, then this actually is not so bad. So let me link you to this. Google Login. This is not a bad place to start, I think. Because it's but at some point I break away. You don't need to do all the things I do. You could do and use Google's token inspection endpoint rather than using OIDC. You don't need to verify the tokens on your own. You can use the GAPI. I think if you followed along with this and just looked for the parts where it was GAPI, then this will get you a lot of what you need. Yeah. Because notice there's 3A using Google Platform, 3B using Google API, 3C using OIDC URLs. And notice how this section is longer than all the previous sections combined. So you don't actually need to do all the hand rolling stuff. It's just that for what I wanted was I don't want to have to download the entire Google library because that actually takes a while and it's big and it's still kind of clunky and the documentation for it is surprisingly missing. So yeah, I'm working more from the spec docs. Anyway. Okay. I gotta get to bed. I'm out of it. I'm gonna send this off. This is tested working. What are we at here? What am I at for hours? Yeah, a little bit more than I'd hoped. But no dropped frames. That's good. So I think yeah. Sorry, tired. My brain's not working. I'm not ready to merge this into main yet, but if you npm install from this git commit, the flow is tested working. Whoops. I meant to, it looks like I pasted something in the wrong place here. I did. Oh, I did. I didn't paste it in the Beyond Code channel. Huh, that's why. Okay. That's why he joined in. Okay. Because he doesn't normally join in for this stuff. Okay, sorry. What am I doing? All right, so I'm not ready to merge this into main yet, but if you npm install from this git commit, the flow is tested and working. All right, now let me go grab that. And let me give him the exact commit. Where's the commit? There it is. npm install GitHub. Was it GitHub, the root company, auth3000 pound this? I think it's just 9 characters you need. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9. Okay. So if I were to go into any other project real quick, I'm just going to pick that base 62 token project. And if we did npm install save like that, I think that should work. Okay, good. So I'm going to give him, I'm going to put this in the issue for testing this out. Let's put this in the issue. So if you want to test this version out, all right, test how to test this. Migration from client-side redirects. How to migrate from client-side redirects. There we go. How to install this pre-release version. There we go. All right, let me make sure that this is still true. So that is 100%. It's great. It's doing what it's supposed to do. Yeah, that worked. And that is doing the thing it's supposed to do. Man, my words, everything's broken in my brain right now. Sorry. All right, refresh. What was this refresh supposed to look like? Copy as fetch, right? Copy as fetch. Let me just edit this. Bah. I don't need all this. Do we need any of these headers at all? Don't need that. 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 Okay, so this should be the thingy. All right, I gotta get out of here, y'all. I gotta go get some sleep. Church changed to 9 a.m., we had really, really late church, and now we have really, well, it's not really early church, but it's somehow I have to wake up before 8. I don't know how it's going to happen. Let's see. If document.location.query.error. Is that? How's this work these days? Document.location.query. No. That's search. href. New URL. Do we have the query params in here? Search params. Search params dot get error. I think it's that. Yeah, like that, right? Okay. All right, I'm out, y'all. I'm gonna just log some hours real quick, and then I'm out. So thumbs up if you got them, thumbs down otherwise. Share. Let's spread the love. Let's retweet and retweet on YouTube and retweet on Twitch and retweet in all the places. Send an email to an old colleague. Maybe not in this video, but one of the other ones. Or if there's a clip, if you can comment with time codes, I love it when people comment with time codes. If something was good and you're like, you're thinking, I got to share this with somebody I know. This little snippet. I love it when you just comment with those time codes on that. That's just so awesome. And yeah, it helps me know too what are the most valuable bits. Okay. Anyway, this eventually is going to be an in-a-box solution. I am doing a little bit more work because I'm adding. Yeah, well, one, this already existed, and it was built with the idea in mind that there was going to be this more seamless login, and then that ended up not working out, and so we swapped over to saying, okay, we'll just do more and more server side since we can't do the seamless login anyway. So, okay, what is this? Oh gosh, yeah, this project was supposed to be done back in August. And it just never materialized. Or what am I trying to say? Not that it never materialized, but something or other. I don't know. All right, let's get rid of that. Get rid of all that. What the? Huh? I'm gonna get off here in a second. I just need to log some time. Okay, from what were we doing here? What do we got? I think we got an hour in the last one. We're at 3.5 right now, so we're going 2:30 in the AMs. And this was, so what did we start at? No, did we start at 12 for this one? We might have started at 12 for this one. I don't know. No, 11. It was 11. 11. And then before that, let me just check real quick and see. Because I know y'all love to watch me log time. Before that, that's one of the highlights of the show, right? Oh, okay, yeah. So this one was, yeah, it was about an hour there too. Okay, cool. So I'm just gonna call that. I think that was basically 9 p.m. to 10 p.m. thereabouts. Oh, and there wasn't really much of tangent or anything. This was pretty on target. Google Redirect. Yeah, maybe like 5 minutes of tangent or whatever, but that's well within the acceptable range. No 20-30 minute tangents here. Okay, cool. And no breaks to check Facebook and all that either. So, that's the other thing is when you're on live stream, you lose a little bit of time with a little bit of comments and this and that or whatever. But also you're really, really focused. Whereas sometimes, you're looking at a problem, you're like, and then let's see who's tweeting what becomes really appealing. So you lose a little bit of time that way. You try not to get you just try to be honest and consistent, and but just part of work is taking breaks, and when you work your normal job and you take a break, you go to the bathroom, you hit up somebody at the water cooler and have a 15-minute conversation. You don't clock out to say, oh yeah, I had a conversation with somebody while we were going to lunch or getting back, or whatever. Anyway, cool. So that's up to date, and yeah, I'm ready to my brain. It's amazing that somehow I can't speak words, but I can get the code to work. I think it's because it's become part of the subconscious. It's just the years of. Anyway, thanks for joining in. Really appreciate the conversation. It was great. Loved to have that back and forth. It was just really nice. I hope you all have a wonderful night, wonderful new year. We're going to rock this new year because Q1, we're going to finish up this payment stuff. I just, whenever, when the holidays, basically, if you don't finish it by October 31st, you're not going to finish it until January. That's just whatever project it is, that's the way it goes, because you got other things coming up, and then so. But Q1, this payment stuff, I'm so excited about getting it all down. And then we also have in the next 2 weeks, we're doing this Trello migration for Dash, the Dash incubator. So that's what we got coming up. So yeah, thumbs up, subs, retweets, all the things. Check the description, creedsofcraftsmanship.com, webinstall.dev. All the good resources are in the description, and you just hit me up anywhere. Hit me up on the Discord, ask me questions. I'm grumpy, so I'm probably going to tell you, no, here's a simpler way to do it. And you might not really want to take that advice, because you might just want to use some library that does 90% of what you need and all that. But, I'll give you my unfiltered opinion. So, with all that said, good night, y'all. Adios.